The following program is brought to you by Arlington Community Media, where we tell your story.
This is ACMi News, recognized nationwide as the first place winner of the 2023 Hometown Media Award for News Access.
We told you about the death of Arlington's beloved eagle MK earlier this year, but what has her mate KZ been up to? An ACMi News volunteer videographer captured these great shots of KZ on one of his many return trips to Arlington. And Arlington prepares itself to be invaded by ghouls, goblins, zombies, all with a hankering for sugar-laden treats. Halloween 2023 has arrived in town. ACMi News is next.
From McLennan Park to Spy Pond, from Poets Corner to the Mystic River, we have Arlington covered, giving you stories that count from people who care. Reliable, trustworthy, dependable. This is the nationwide award-winning ACMi News.
The highly charged rezoning issue, which allows more multifamily housing in Arlington, has passed overwhelmingly. An October special town meeting at Town Hall is now over. Hello, I'm Reagan Finch.
And I'm Summer Maxwell, glad you could join us. The special October town meeting dissolved in session number 4 Wednesday night, October 25th, just minutes after passing Article 12 by a vote of 189 to 35. Roughly 250 town meeting members spent 2 hours on Wednesday debating the pros and cons of changing zoning bylaws in town on things like open space, step back, and corner lot requirements. Article 12 allows more multifamily housing in Arlington as required by the state. After debates were closed, town moderator Greg Christiana called for a vote on the main motion with an amendment that changed certain wording and definitions in the bylaws. Over the course of this special town meeting, residents had their chance to weigh in on an issue which is certain to have a profound effect on Arlington's future.
I don't see how this is about equity or improving housing. I think this is about developers being able to build up and some folks who are already rich getting a whole lot richer. We struggle. My neighborhood's amazing. I love East Arlington. It's a great community. It's a wonderful place to live. And I've chosen to live there over any place else. I work remotely. I could live any place else in the world, and I want to live here. But we don't need 3 times as many people.
We're all trying to play a part in this solution. Arlington's warrant Article 12 will provide a meaningful framework for making progress in this area. It's one of the long-term solutions to this problem. And it's long-term. If we can reach our goal, and it will take many years, believe me, we will make a difference. I just cannot stress enough that this is seriously threatening the economic vibrancy of our community. And it's been a long time coming, and it's going to take a long time to fix, but this article can start that, and you can make the difference. I urge you to support this amendment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Freeman.
To get a summary of the special town meeting vote, just go to the town's website, arlingtonma.gov/townmeeting. Again, that's arlingtonma.gov/townmeeting. And you can see all 4 sessions of special town meeting by going to the ACMi website, acmi.tv. Again, that's acmi.tv.
We are now days away from Arlington's November 7th special election, when Arlington residents will vote on a $7 million override for fiscal 2024 and possible tax relief for eligible seniors. Are you ready to cast your vote? Here's the latest. The town clerk is accepting applications for election workers to man the check-in table. If you're interested, you're asked to complete the online application. You'll be contacted about training. You may recall the Select Board approved early voting hours, starting on Saturday, October 28th, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. in the town clerk's office. That's on the 2nd floor of the town hall. The deadline to register to vote for the special election was October 28th at 5 p.m. Get all of the information you need to know about taking part in this special election by going to the town website, arlingtonma.gov/elections. Again, that's arlingtonma.gov/elections.
The Arlington Human Rights Commission is now weighing in on the tragedy currently unfolding in Israel, a war which is now in its third week. The group released a statement over the weekend saying in part, quote, "The AHRC recognizes the deep grief in our community in the wake of the horrifying terrorist attacks by Hamas and the inhumane response by Israel. We mourn the escalation of violence. We are devastated by the loss of thousands of Israeli and Palestinian lives and grieve with those who have lost loved ones. Especially in this time of fear and anxiety, we stand against anti-Semitism and Islamophobia. Please report anti-Semitic, Islamophobic, and other incidents of hate to the AHRC." You can get more information on the commission by going to their website, arlingtonhumanrights.org. Again, that's arlingtonhumanrights.org.
ACMi News told you about the death of MK earlier this year. MK was Arlington's beloved bald eagle who ingested an animal tainted with rat poison and died last February. Take a look at this. MK's mate, KZ, was spotted last week fishing near the Mystic Dam. Our good friend John Harrison captured these spectacular shots of KZ in the early morning hours of Thursday, October 19th. John tells us KZ flew into the spillway and grabbed a couple of fish. You may recall KZ and MK once shared a nest at the Mount Pleasant Cemetery in Arlington. Not too long after MK's death, strong winds and torrential rains last spring destroyed that nest, and KZ has since moved on, but still makes an occasional appearance. In the meantime, the battle continues to educate the public on the harm that poisons can cause to the natural food chain.
When it comes to news gathering in Arlington, ACMi News is proud to share the same beat with YourArlington.com, Bob Sprague's hyper-local, nonprofit, digital-only news medium in town. Your Arlington began as an experiment in community journalism, dedicated to reporting news about Arlington and the Arlington-related views of its residents. Now, Bob has announced he's stepping back from his duties as editor of Your Arlington, but he's not going anywhere. In fact, he's having a party on November the 15th to celebrate. Here's ACMi News Director Jeff Barnes with the details.
I am here in front of Donut Villa for a big bash that's going to be taking place right here come November the 15th. You may have heard about Arlington's nonprofit news website, Your Arlington. Well, here at Donut Villa at 319 Broadway in Arlington Center, we will be honoring its founder, Bob Sprague. That is set for Wednesday, November the 15th from 7 to 9:30 p.m. This event features a talk by prominent media commentator Dan Kennedy, tributes from state and local officials, delicious food and drinks, including donuts, and a public celebration of Bob Sprague's 17 years of hard work to create and edit that independent news website that has now grown to an estimated 70,000 visitors per month and has become Arlington's leading online source of independent news that affects all of us right here in the town of Arlington. ACMi News is honored to collaborate with Your Arlington each and every day. In this current climate we all find ourselves in, hyper-local news is needed now more than ever. Now, I recently talked to Bob on day one of town meeting at Town Hall about what will be happening here come November the 15th.
I've decided not to be the editor of Your Arlington anymore, and that happened last July. Judith Pfeffer is the editor. I've done this long enough, but I love it. So I'm still president of the board of the nonprofit Your Arlington, and on November the 15th at Donut Villa, they'll be honoring me. What can I say?
Well, you know what? You deserve it, first of all. And just so to make it clear, you're not leaving Your Arlington. This is your baby. You're just handing off some of the responsibilities to Judith.
That is correct. I'm not going anywhere. My wife and I have lived here. We have 2 children. We've lived here for 34 years. We know we're not townies, but we've 34 years worth.
Tell me a little bit, like in 30 seconds, about your entire career. How long you've been in the business, who you've worked for, and why you love storytelling so much.
I love this to tell this story because I began in journalism on April Fool's Day, 1970. So we're talking 53 years ago in Pennsylvania. And I was happy to work for the Bethlehem Globe-Times, a paper that won the Pulitzer Prize in 1972. I didn't have anything to do with it, but it's great to work for a small paper that wins a big one.
You and I have talked about the Advocate, in the rearview mirror. Why is it so important to have local, really local news now more than ever when you have the commercial TV stations pretty much monopolizing all of our media?
It's important to me, and I should point out, I was the editor of The Advocate back in 1994, 95, and I really believed in what we were doing. I'll point out that while I was there, we did win the first prize in reporting for a paper 10,000 and fewer circulation. But while I was there, the company that owned us then measured 5 Water Street, where we did work. And why were they measuring? They were preparing to move us. And that's the way it's been ever since. And it's important to keep news local and report it and inform the public.
Well, you know what? You're a stalwart in the business, a seasoned veteran, but you were also able to adapt to modern day storytelling, and it's needed now more than ever. So congratulations again, November the 15th. Give us all the information so that people can buy the tickets, or they're probably going to go fast.
Basically, you go to yourarlington.com and look in the upper right corner, and you'll see the promotional information. Just click that link, and you'll find how to get tickets.
And the tickets are going fast. Arlington resident Larry Slotnick recently said, "Your Arlington is a local treasure, and it would not exist without the vision, the talent, and commitment of Bob Sprague." And we at ACMi News, well, we couldn't agree more. And we are very proud to call him a good friend and collaborator. So do you want to know more about this celebration of Bob Sprague's accomplishments? Yeah, we thought so. All you have to do is go to yourarlington.com. And a footnote, I'm honored to be emceeing this event. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Now, just to recap, because that's what we do in the TV news biz, Donut Villa, November 15th, 7 to 9:30. Yourarlington.com for tickets. All you need to do now is show up, and we hope to see you there.
And another footnote, Your Arlington is a registered 501c3 nonprofit supported by donations, underwriting, and grants. All donations are tax deductible. In other news, the Minuteman School Committee unanimously voted at its meeting this week to make its acting superintendent its interim superintendent director. Kevin Mahoney will head up the Minuteman Regional Technical Vocational School District through June 30th, 2024, the end of the school year. Mahoney, you'll recall, came out of retirement to lead the district after former Superintendent Kathleen Dawson was put on administrative leave in late spring and resigned in September. According to Your Arlington, as of November 1st, Mahoney will be paid $164,000 per year with benefits. School leaders say Mahoney's placement now gives them ample time to find a permanent superintendent, starting in the 2024-2025 school year. Roughly 200 students from Arlington attend Minuteman.
Veterans Day will soon be upon us come November 11th, and as always, days like that conjure up memories and stories of past conflicts that should never be forgotten. Recently, ACMi's James Milan visited the home of Jack Johnston, a longtime Arlington resident who has vivid and often musing memories of this town during the Second World War. Jack paints a detailed image of a very different Arlington when the war in Europe and the South Pacific affected all Americans. As a child, Jack recalls the thousands of Italian POWs who were transported from prisoner camp in Boston and brought right here to work in Arlington.
Where McClellan Playground or Park is located now, that was the Napoli farm. And Italian prisoners were brought out from Boston daily during the farming season. They had the POW painted on their blouses and the rear end of their pants. And we weren't very nice to them. And we would throw stones until the MPs would drive us off. We didn't like them because they were
POWs, right?
Yeah, and
yeah. So again, these are folks who were apprehended or captured on the battlefields in Europe, and then
North Africa,
and North Africa, of course.
We learned that most of them came from North Africa,
and then they were transported here,
right?
And
about 3,000 of them. I knew that they had about 3,000 Italian prisoners in Boston, and they used them to do odd jobs,
right, like
road repairs and so forth.
Same way prisoners have traditionally been used for a long, long time.
Right.
But you're saying that also the the actual, the real life experience of these folks was that they were dealing with kids and others, Americans, and your hostility as well, right?
Well, once my folks found out what we were doing, we were told knock it off.
Oh, okay.
They're prisoners and.
Okay, so it was mostly a kid.
Oh, it's just us kids. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, and the MPs, the Army MPs would tell us to get lost. You know, they were there to protect the prisoners.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, but I do remember them farming at what was once DeNapoli's farm.
One of many stories Jack has to tell on ACMi's latest edition of Talk on the Town. You can see James's interview with Jack Johnston in its entirety by just going to our YouTube page, youtube.com/ACMiTV. Again, that is youtube.com/ACMiTV. It's that time of year in Arlington once again. Time for the coveted Arlington International Film Festival, which is set to take place November 2nd through the 5th at the Capitol Theater on Mass Ave. This is a chance for so many film directors, producers, and actors to feature in films that have a profound impact on all of us. Films from all over the world. One film that's already debuted at the venue in Lexington on October 16th, Brief Tender Light. It's an inspiring story of 4 African students at MIT who are determined to bring positive change to their homelands. ACMi's news director, Jeff Barn, talked to Arthur Musa, the filmmaker, about his passion for making this one-of-a-kind documentary.
I just got admitted into the best engineering institution in the whole world.
When I got the letter, I would never forget it.
Those 3 letters, MIT, they mean a lot to people. People expect things from you.
I think MIT will take me to the next big thing.
It's a coming-of-age film following 4 African students going through the American college experience at MIT. I made this film because I went through that experience as well. I'm from Ghana, and I came at 19 to study at MIT, thinking that I was going to go back after I graduated and kind of take the state-of-the-art engineering knowledge that I would have acquired to my home country, Ghana. But 2 decades plus later, I still live in America.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. I see no reason why I shouldn't, live up to the expectations of my people back home.
When they look at me, what do they think I look like? And then they said I look African American. I want to represent my country. I can't keep on wearing Tanzania shirts all the time.
You're discovering who you are if you don't know yourself already. Why are you working on the film?
MIT taught me things about the world and about myself that led me far from home.
I don't really know how it happens, but you just notice certain changes about yourself.
My first snow experience. Snow!
That journey is pretty transformative, and you think because with social media, we feel like we know what things are like when the actual experience might be more complex and more complicated. So hopefully, this film gives people embarking on that journey a little bit more of the complex insight into that experience.
Justice! Now!
You have a responsibility to help your country.
The fear of what awaits me in the world. I don't know what's ahead of me.
This drive of wanting to help or wanting to impact other people's lives is something that's been there for me since I was very young.
We have to pave our own way, and I am scared of my dreams because they're bigger than me and they're vast.
And just a reminder, the Arlington International Film Festival will be held at the Capitol Theater at 204 Mass Ave, November 2nd through the 5th. ACMi News Director Jeff Barn will MC this year's festival. For all the information you need to know about this year's festival, just go to their website, AIFFest.org. Again, that's AIFFest.org. We hope to see you there.
Arlington Heights has a brand new mural with a positive message for these trying times. You'll find this brand new work of art on the side of Szechuan Dumplings Restaurant at 1360 Mass Ave. The artist behind this colorful display is Alex Cook, who says his work was inspired by the Arlington Heights community and the very site which now serves as a canvas for his newest creation. Cook outlined the mural and then invited area residents to pick up a brush and paint it with him earlier in the week. More than 40 volunteers came to help Cook transform his vision into this colorful and timely mural.
This is a You Are Loved mural. It's part of a project I've been doing for about 10 years. Murals that say those words, you are loved. To me, it's basically about the most important message that you can hear or say. Everyone does everything better when they are experiencing love, whether they're loving their activity or feeling valuable themselves or valuing someone else. You do your relationships better, you do your work better, you live every aspect of your life better if and when you feel loved. It's not necessarily conditional. We all have our ups and downs in our lives, but it's something that we can just repeat. We can repeat to ourselves, we can remember it, we can remind other people, and that's what this is. It's using the power of art combined with this real simple message to remind people about this central fact about being healthy and happy. My idea is to kind of surprise people with this message, which, especially for public places, it's an intimate message. Mm-hmm. It's saying, you are valuable, you are important, you're precious, and all those things are true, but it's not something that we talk about in public very often.
The concept for this mural actually came from a group of Addison School students who last spring were doing a final project at the Addison and really wanted to bring a message of anti-hate to Arlington, and we're doing a design and we're excited about really putting a message out there. And at the time I suggested to them that maybe we could bring Alex to do a positive spin on instead of no hate here, more a you are loved kind of message. And they looked at his website and they were like blown away and thought that would be fantastic. And this was a wall that they suggested.
This mural was made possible by a town grant and sponsored by Arts Arlington, Arlington Center for the Arts, and the Chamber of Commerce. For Alex Cook, this is his 112th You Are Loved mural. Since 1965, the head of the Charles Regatta has attracted hundreds of thousands of rowers to the banks of the Charles River. And just this past weekend, thousands more came. I should know, I was one of them, and I won the thing. Let's go to ACMi News sports producer Nick Antonakis with the latest in sports.
More than 11,000 rowers from around the world meet at the Charles River for the head of the Charles Regatta. Along with all the rowers and spectators, local community cable stations like Arlington Community Media Inc. bring their productions on the road. Amongst bustling crowds of fans and sculls racing through the Charles River on opening day of the head of the Charles Regatta stood an interesting sight, a podcasting stand. Charlotte Pierce, the producer and host of the podcast Ready Row USA, brought her show to the riverside.
I'm a rower, so Ready Row USA, I just said, how can I help expand awareness of the sport of rowing?
To set out for Cambridge at 6 in the morning like Pierce did on that Friday illustrates her passion for the podcast and rowing. After picking up the sport in 2012 at the age of 56, she became obsessed.
I started with a group of parents in my daughter's middle school and then at community rowing up the river here. And the community drew me in.
Pierce's passion for rowing combined with her love for videography brought her Ready Row USA podcast idea to life. These passions were materialized into an actual product thanks to ACMi, the local community television station in Arlington, Massachusetts. ACMi offered Pierce an opportunity to learn the craft of podcasting to make her dreams become a reality.
The skills I learned there really made me think I could do the podcast.
With ACMi's help, Pierce put on a show all day long. She featured various guests in live interviews throughout the day, bringing the head of the Charles atmosphere to viewers watching from home. For Pierce, ACMi is more than a factor in making the production of her podcast possible. It's a resource for the community.
Video is a powerful medium. And there's a lot to learn about it. It changes constantly, so the studio keeps up on that. They have all the equipment. If you're a member, you can you can use that equipment, learn how to use it, and use it.
From ACMi Sports, I'm Nick Antonakis.
Thanks, Nick. We are now on the cusp of Halloween, which means ghosts, goblins, apparitions, and zombies will be begging you for candy on Tuesday, October 31st. And it appears Arlington is ready to receive the hundreds of trick-or-treaters with a strong appetite for sweets. Here are some of the decorations we saw all over town this year, and we brought back some oldies, but some goodies.
The night before Halloween, and all through my house, not a monster was stirring, not even a mouse. Igor was snuggled, all safe in his bed. He lay there so still, you'd think he was dead. The bats were all hung around the chimney with care, hanging there planning which people to scare. And racked in his coffin, and I in my lab, creating a monster still warm on his slab. When all of a sudden I heard such a clatter, I ran from my lab to see what was the matter. I ran to the chamber, quick as a flash. There were my monsters doing the mash.
Everybody
I broke up the party and put them away, and told them to rest, for tomorrow's their day. When all of a sudden the clock struck 13, and Frankenstein yelled, "It's Halloween! Up, Igor, Dracula, out of your bed. Let's go downtown and wake up the dead." And as the whole gang started off in the night, I heard them all singing, "Happy Halloween to all, and to all a good Friday."
That'll do it for this week's edition of ACMi News. I'm Summer Maxwell.
And I'm Reagan Finch. Thanks as always for joining us, and have a great week, everybody.
And have a very happy, possibly bone-chilling Halloween. What is happening here? Oh my God! Look what they did to us on that.
Oh, that's so good.
You can always check out our latest segments and newscasts on the web at acmi.tv/news. And don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ACMi News. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. You'll find us at youtube.com/ACMi News. If you have any news tips for us or wish to become a citizen journalist, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at news@acmi.tv or stop by ACMI Studio A at 85 Park Avenue.